Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video guys, we are going to be checking out the new PRB-01 Red Sanji. That's right, there will be one new leader that comes out in the premium booster set. And it is this leader you see on the screen right now. His name, it's Sanji of course. And we'll talk more about the leader as we get into the video. Let me not get ahead of myself. Let me give you guys a quick layout, tell you what we're going to be getting into today. First up, we're going to head over to the lab, and we got a really cool game lined up of red-yellow Sabo versus green-yellow Yamato. That's first things first, okay? Then we're going to hop over to OnePieceTopDecks.com, and there's already been a winning deck list. I think it was at a locals, but there's already been a winning or topping deck list for the leader you see on the screen right now, for Sanji, the new PRB-01 Aggro Sanji. We'll check that out, see what direction they're building the leader. And then from there, we will hop over to the sim and check out 5 games from me playing Sanji on the sim. Now, I am playing a totally different list from the one we'll check out on OnePieceTopDecks.com because I like to experiment with new leaders as they come out and just try my own thing and see what works for me and what doesn't. I always like to try to approach things from my own, try things my own way kind of thing and see how it works. Then we will check out the deck list that I'm running. I'll talk about possible revisions and all that good stuff, deck review, deck analysis, and breakdown final thoughts. And then we'll wrap it up with an art critique at the end. Okay, and I will have all of this time-stamped. Don't worry, guys. Everything will be time-stamped in the general description of the video. You guys, don't be afraid to talk to me in the comment section below, guys. I do try to answer those as quickly as I can. Okay? All right. So you know what we're getting into? Let's just get straight into this. Excuse me. So first things first, we do have a game of red-yellow Sabo. Let me move this. That'll help. There we go. We have a game of red-yellow Sabo versus green-yellow Yamato. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. The volume is off. The speed is on 2x, and we're good to go. Now, it looks like the maximum quality for this person's recording was 720p. That's fine. Not a big deal at all. Not a big deal at all. Now, real quick, I just want to say, guys, for those who are not aware of what's going on in this segment, why is this called the lab? Well, as you can see at the bottom right of the screen currently, where it says, way over here, under my mouse, where it says the VV Theory. If you want me to review one of your games, hop on the Discord. Here's the way to do it. That's what we're watching right now. This is a community-submitted game. All you have to do is record your game. A lot of people like to use OBS as recording software for the computer. You upload it to YouTube. You hop on the Discord, and you send the link in the Review My Games channel. Okay, there's like a channel set up for Review My Games. Send it there. I'll check. I'll put a thumbs up emoji. That means that I got it and I added it to the list, because there is a list of people to wait your turn in line basically. But it's free, guys. It's a completely free service that I'm kind of offering. It's not really a service. I'm just trying to give back to the community in that way. So for those who are interested, that's how you can submit your own stuff for me to check out. And excuse me. And it's also, notice you're not going to get to see anyone's names. You don't have to be embarrassed like, oh, now everyone knows I'm a bad player or something like that. And I try not to be overly critical, but I do like to analyze and see like what could have been a better play or another possibility. Okay. Excuse me. Now, let's dive into this. We've got red-yellow Sabo versus green-yellow Yamato. And the red-yellow Sabo player is going to get to choose if they want to go first or second. Here we go. And they are going to choose to go second. Pause. Now, it is kind of hard to say whether or not you want to go first or second. Okay, now going second, Yamato definitely does want to go first. Okay, because they usually want to swing for 8 on turn 2. And then from that turn on, now their triggers are going to be online if they're running any type of Land of Wano package, right? And the same idea, I guess, is true for red-yellow Sabo. It's like, I would typically like to go first. I'll talk more about red-yellow Sabo in another video. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about with red-yellow Sabo. Because going first does a few things. Number one, I'm starting to lean towards a Big Mom Pirates package again. And going first, you get Pudding into turn 2 Parasparrow, into turn 3, whatever, right? But I don't know what version of the deck that this person is running, but going first is not typically a bad idea. I will say that as red-yellow Sabo, but that's okay. It's going second is very solid as well, because you can get down a lot of 4-cost characters. Okay, so here we go. It looks like we're probably going to keep this, it looks like. And this version is running a card that I'm not running. What's his name? Raizu, I think his name is. I have not actually experimented with that Raizu card in hand. This should be interesting. Okay, so here we go. We are up. Let me make sure. Excuse me. Are we on 2x speed? Yeah, we're on 2x speed. And so we have no turn 2, unfortunately, or no turn 1, excuse me. And turn 2 for the Yamatos coming up here. They're at their 3-dawn turn. They're just going to swing 8. This is a very, very standard attack. Yeah, just let it go through. Nice. Got a Tropical Torment trigger. That was awesome. So for those who are not aware, Tropical Torment is a trigger. Well, excuse me, it's a 3-cost event that says if your opponent is at 4 or more life, they have to trash the top card of their life. Now, in this situation, it was an absolute home run because and it has a trigger to activate the main. Okay, the trigger for this card activates the main. So when they attacked in, boom, we hit their life and took them down to 3. And look what the top card of their life was, guys. That was a Kikanojo. Okay, it was a Kikanojo, gone now. They don't get it. It gets trashed. And then the next card we got, I think, was a Zoro. And then we drew a dragon for the turn. So now our leader effect is, excuse me, not our leader effect. Our land and Wano cards are turned on. All their triggers are active now. And we're one step closer to winning this game. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So we have a 4-dawn turn here. Looks like we're going to swing for 5 and develop maybe the Nekomamushi or the Raizu. I like the Nekomamushi here, because whatever they play, hopefully he does. Okay, he's thinking about just going fast. Okay, that's another route. So let me bring up the chess, the accuracy meter over here. That was not technically a misplay. That was just another route we could have gone. This is still technically, this is almost like a book move. Like, do you want to go aggressive this game, or would you like to develop a body? There was no wrong answer. I personally would like to develop the Nekomamushi, so that way whatever my opponent plays next turn, I'm just going to smack into it and they're done for. However, we swung for 5 and they took the hit, so they're at 2 life now. If we swing in with Zoro here, our opponent is in a lot of trouble, right? Like, they're going to have to give us a 2K counter. So let's see what they do. Let me move this accuracy meter. Okay, and here we go. Swing for 6. I'm sure they should 2K counter out of this if they do not. Like, if I don't know if they do or don't, but they really should consider 2K countering out of this. Okay, or, oh, wow, 1K, 1K. So do you know what that means, guys? That means there are no 2K counters in our opponent's hand unless they're doing just an incredible bluff for no reason, throwing away 2 cards for nothing. So probably no 2K counters in our opponent's hand. In this situation, there is no way I would have let that Zoro go. Yeah, 2K counter out every time because our opponent is in a lot of trouble at this point. Like, no 2K counters, you say, huh? Okay, well, I got really bad news for you. Right, we're gonna bring the heat right here. A lot of gas coming. So right here, I think we're probably gonna. We've got 6 dawn this turn. Let's look at our possibilities. I mean, there's a world, honestly, where you go 6 first. Go 6 first with the leader, 7 with Zoro. Play out the other Zoro. Put the 7K to life. Swing 7 with Zoro. Game over. Okay. And I think they're seeing that. Like, they're doing the math right now. It looks like they're doing the math right now. Okay, so swing 7. I would have done 6 first, but, you know, it's not a big deal. They get a cracker, trash a card, so we know it's not a 2K counter. Yep, swing on in. Yep, here we go. Attack. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hang on, what are we seeing right now? Is that game? I got to see this person's... Oh, no, it went way too fast. It, like, disappeared instantly. Let me pause it and go straight to the end. That was game, guys. There it is. Okay. Their hand was completely bricked up, guys. That is so crazy. Look at this. Now, I will say this. The Yamato player made a mistake playing out the Cracker. Because they had the 2K Hiyori in their hand. They tried a 2K counter out of a 6K attack. If he had held on to the Cracker instead of playing it, he could have gotten out of this last attack and tried to do something from there. Either way, it's not looking good for him, right? Like, there is no world in which this looks good for our opponent at all. But he would have at least had a chance in that way, right? Wow, that was probably the fastest game I've ever seen. That was a turn 3 win. And so whenever I see these videos, I don't actually watch them first, but I saw the title of this video that they submitted is Fastest Red Yellow Sabo versus Yamato, or Yami they called it. It's like, what? Like, what in the world? So they weren't kidding. Okay, this was a turn 3 win. And they were going second too, so that was awesome. Well, I guess second would make sense on these kind of wins, but still, really good stuff there. Not a lot to talk about. I'm not gonna lie, not a whole lot to talk about in this game. When you see, I do talk about this all the time though. If you see the opportunity, you need to take it, because what was the worst case scenario that could have happened here? Let me pause this. What is the worst case scenario? Let me go all the way back to right here. Because we saw they had two 1K counters to counter out of that one attack, so we know they're light on 2K counters. Now, what is the worst thing that could happen when we were in this situation right here? Where it's like, okay, we're going to swing. By the way, we should have swung for 6 first. Not a big deal. Ended up not really mattering, right? Let me hit play. Whoops, it was already playing. They do 7 first. Now, again, like, what can punish us for going for lethal right here? You know what I mean? Like, there's not a whole lot. However, I will say, one thing that could punish us is, of course, what happened with this Yamato, or this cracker right here. However, we're going to go up to 3 life. And we have a 2K, or excuse me, we only have 2 1Ks in hand. So I will say, I guess this was kind of, you know, a roll of the dice, a gamble. But, hey, it ended up paying off. Because they would have to get through, basically, the whole board of attacks. Because they'd have to get through 3 life. So, you know, 7 with the cracker first, 7 or more with cracker first to get us down to 1 life. And then it doesn't matter if they have double attack on their leader anymore or their Kikinojo. We just have to get out of those, you know, those potential attacks. But hey, like I said, right here, and then we swing for 6. Here's what really confuses me. So swing for 6. The last card in their life must have been the Hiyori. It must have been Hiyori. Because then we swing for 7, look, and then they counter out with Hiyori instantly and then quit. Right there. They count out with Hiyori to get to 7. So that must have been the last card in their life. Very unfortunate for our opponent, but hey, very fortunate for us. That was an interesting game there. And I will say this, if we had more counter power in hand, I don't think that's ever the bad play. Like, even if they survive, say they go down to 0 life, they have 4 cards in hand, and they have this board, okay, they're only 1 double attack matters, right? They already have that on their leader. So, like, in that way, the only thing that actually matters is that they got a trigger body. And if we had a little more counter power, that was the only thing that I think could have helped us out. Okay, that was a fun one, and that was a fast game. All right, let me go ahead and get us set up, guys, to check out some other stuff here. Let me turn this off, turn this off. Sorry, guys, I got to go through a few hoops and bounds here, but we're going to be good in just a second. There we go. Okay, now turn the black screen off. We're good. Make my head smaller, right? That should help. Okay, here we go. So now we got to talk about OP-08 format with the new PRB-01 leader, Sanji. There's only 1 recording so far. You know, that will change in the future, I'm sure. But this got first place at a card shop. So this is not a flagship. This is not some large event. But we can at least get an idea of what the East is playing with. In this case, it is Japan. We can see what the East is playing with when it comes to Sanji. First things first, let me read the leader. This is a 5,000 power, 5 life mono red leader. Straw Hat Crew, of course. Which is relevant, by the way, for certain events called Diable Jambe. Activate main once per turn. Up to one of your cost 8 or lower characters without an on play effect gains rush until the end of this turn. And that is an activate main. Okay, once per turn. So with that in mind, every vanilla character in the game has rush in this deck. Every one of them. So that is something very relevant, but at the same time, all of the when attacking characters have rush as well, as long as they cost 8 or less, and don't have any kind of on play associated with it. Excuse me. Okay, so let's check out what this list is running. Just scrolling through it real quick, making sure it's 51 cards. We're good. Okay, so this list is running 3 Otamas, 4 Nico Robins, 4 Sanji, 4 Kingdu, 2 Thatch. These are just the straight up vanilla versions. 4 Jozu, 4 Marco, 2 Izos, 4 Pell, 4 Little Oars Jr., 4 Wapol. This is a very interesting card we'll talk about in a minute. I was not running this in my list, but I want to add it. 4 Radical Beams, 2 Guard Points, 2 White Red Pirate Event Searchers, and 3 Fire Fist. It's running a good amount of event support here, which is a little strange because they're not running the 5-cost Marco, but they are at least running this Marco that can benefit from trashing White Red cards from hand. This is the Revo Army version. And actually, I don't know. That is very interesting. Well, you know, you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. This is like a hybrid, part Straw Hat Crew, part White Beard Pirates type deck. But hey, I guess it's better than nothing, right? It's definitely better than nothing. It's just a little strange to me you'd want to go with 2 of the events here that does a top 5 White Beard search when you only have 2 Izos. Why not get the extra counter power in hand and the searchability in that way and a body on the board? It's just, it's a little bit strange to me. I'm going to be honest. I don't quite know how I feel about that. And I personally think that a direct improvement to this list would be going to 4 Izos just right away. That's just my personal opinion. Just saying. Okay, and one thing that is important to note about this EZO is this is not worded correctly on OnePieceTopDecks.com. What it should say is look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 card with quotations Whitebeard Pirates, not the winged brackets. It should be quotation Whitebeard Pirates in its types other than EZO and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Well, why does that matter? That matters because then you can actually search up cards that are Whitebeard Pirates allies or former Whitebeard Pirates cards as well. Whereas with like Brand New, you know, Brand New has the winged brackets correctly. We're going to bring that up real quick, guys. I do. This is at least like a teachable moment. Y'all give me just 1 second. I just want to show y'all something real quick. Okay, so when it comes to searching, in One Piece, let me just show y'all real quick. Let me bring up EZO first. Okay, so this is EZO, right? There's quite a few different kinds of EZOs. Let me just bring up the standard one. So notice the correct translation has the quotations. This is from the One Piece website, the official site, because this is looking for cards with a type including Whitebeard Pirates. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I got to drive this point home, especially for the new players. Look at Brand New. Brand New is slightly different. He has the winged brackets for Navy. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Navy type card. Not cards with Navy in its types. Do y'all see the difference? I know that's very technical, but it is extremely important. How's it important? Let me show you. There's a card called Kouzuki in the game. This is a Navy card, right? Okay, well then Brand New can search this up. This is a former Navy card. Brand New cannot search this one up. I know, it's annoying. Whosever idea it was, whatever, right? Let's not even get into it. I wish this card was Navy searchable, but it is not. Unfortunately, and that is per the rules, not like my opinion. Okay, guys? Just giving y'all a quick, little teaching, like I said, it's like a teachable moment there, a little bit of education for those who are not aware on the difference between the winged brackets, this right here, and the quotations. And always be sure to get your correct translations from the actual website or from your real-life cards, not just, like, even the Sim has it off a little bit sometimes, and OnePieceTopDecks.com has it off sometimes as well. If you want to know the correct translation, always use the site or the actual real-life card. Okay? And in this case, this should be quotations, which is a good thing. That means we can search up Little Oars Jr., who's not a Whitebeard Pirates. He's a Whitebeard Pirates ally. And there's also I believe it's a 3-cost 5K Vanilla Marco. He is a former Whitebeard Pirates. He's a 3-cost 5K Vanilla card. EZO would be able to search that card up. Just giving you guys a heads up. If you have any comments or questions on that, please put it in the comment section below. Now, back to the list. We are running Pell in this list. This is a 5-cost 6K, Dawn ×1, so swing for 7, right? When attacking, K up to one of your opponent's characters with 4,000 power or less. Now, this card is interesting in the list. It's just a bigger body, but remember, in this deck, it actually has Rush, right? And with this leader, we are able to attack immediately on the turn it is played by using the leader effect. And then if we attach 1 Dawn, we can swing 7 and activate the 1 attacking effect right away. Okay, it can be done right away. Same idea with this card. 5-cost 7K, activate main, we're swinging for 7 the turn it is played. 6 Dawn turn, swing for 8 the turn it is played. Very, very powerful leader effect. But I think it's best to combo with cards like Nico Robin and like the Pell we just saw. This is a 3-cost 4K, 1K counter, Dawn ×1 when attacking, KO a 3,000 power or less. Very powerful. Also, Sanji. This is a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 2K counter. Check this out, guys. Sanji works perfectly in Sanji. Makes sense, right? The Sanji character works just great in the Sanji leader. You may add 1 card from your life area to your hand. Okay, so you're going to draw the top card of your life. It says add 1 card from your life area to your hand. I'm assuming it's the top card. I got this up on the side. Let me tell you guys the correct translation real quick, guys. It is relevant, right? Because if you can grab the top or bottom, that does matter. You may add 1 card from your life area to your hand. That is the way it's worded on the side as well. Rules and revisions, errata, okay. And it says 1 card from the top of your life. So it was errata to be 1 card from the top of your life. Because that would have been really weird, right? If you could just grab it from anywhere in your life, that would have been really confusing. But anyway, you're going to add the top card of your life to your hand. This guy gets plus 2,000 power for the turn, and you attach 2 Rested Dawn to him. Well, in this deck, in Sanji, I will play him for 2 Dawn, and then I will attach the 2 Dawn that I just played him with to him with the Activate main, draw a card from my life, get the plus 2,000, and I can swing for 7 immediately with this leader effect. Now, one thing, I'm sure they've answered it by now, but I do not believe you can attack on the turn he has played. and that's not because of anything to do with like rush. I think it has to do with a beginning of the game rule that no player may battle on their first turn. Okay, we'll have to see if any rules and erratas come out based on that, and if you guys know if there are or not, you know, please tell me in the comment section below, but I don't believe you'll be able to swing on turn 1 going second with this character with the leader's effect. That would be really cool if you could. That'd be really cool if you could, but I don't think they're going to allow that. Again, don't quote me on that. We'll have to check. We'll have to wait for the rules and the errata, and if it does come out whenever I do figure it out, or whenever I find out and read it, whatever, I will put in the comment section, you know, the ruling on that. Okay, so really powerful effects, though. So all these cards, and one thing that I want to focus on when we're looking at this leader is the blocker aspect. We can turn all of our blockers into rushers. And then on top of that, if you don't want to attack my character, okay, fine. You know, I've got a blocker for next turn if I need it. And in the case of Marco, here's what's so important about this Sanji card. I want to go down to 2 life, and I want to turn on this character's on KO effect immediately. Just like absolutely immediately. And because of that, for Rad Beam, perfect. We have to be at 2 or less life to be a 1 cost 4K. Literally perfection. Like actually perfect. And that is like a match made in heaven for this deck going forward. And I'm not running Marco in the list that I'm going to show you guys today when I go to the sim. But I think, guys, just looking at the interaction, it is just too much value to not include going forward, in my personal opinion. Having 4 Sanji, 4 Marco, 4 Rad Beam, it's just too much of a perfect thing. And then from there, look at this. One is a 2K counter, the other is a blocker, and then they have so much extra value with this leader. One more thing, too. Straw Hat type searchable, Whitebeard searchable. So you can choose to build this deck whichever way you want. You want to be Straw Hat crew? By all means, go ahead. You know, you want to be Whitebeard pirates? By all means, go ahead. Because, again, that's not, these are very relevant types is what I'm saying. Straw Hat and Whitebeard pirates, very relevant types in the red card pool. Okay, now there's 2 other cards I really want to focus in on, one being Little Oars Jr. Check this out, guys. Remember, in this deck, he is a 6 cost, 7,000 power character with a 1K counter and rush. That's absurd, right? That's literally insane. And then once per turn, if this character would be KO'd by an effect, it's KO'd, you may trash an event or stage card from your hand rested. Or hand instead. I can't even talk right now. Let me say that one more time for clarity's sake. Once per turn, if this character would be KO'd by an effect, you may trash an event or stage card from your hand instead. So it does have to be an event. Okay, so now it makes more sense running all the events. I get that now. That makes way more sense. And I do like running events. Like I said, I want to run the Rad Beams. I actually want to run the 0 cost event as well. Like, I think there might be a world, hear me out, guys. Maybe there's a world where we go 4 Rad Beams, we go 4 guard points, and then we go 4, not Fire Fist, go 4 of the 0 cost event. And all of those are Straw Hat Crew searchable. And then maybe we go about it that way, and then just run like 2 or 3 Little Oars Juniors, something along those lines. We'll have to see. Now, one more card to talk about, this one as well. Now, this is really a 7 drop, to be honest, because you want to do the Dawn times 1 effect when attacking. It's a 6 cost, 6K, 1K counter with rush. Okay, that alone is already good. But if you have a 7 Dawn turn or better, attach 1 Dawn to him, and when attacking, one of your opponent's characters get minus 2,000 power for this turn, and then this character gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this kind of works as like a 2 cost, or excuse me, a 7 cost 9K rusher that can minus 2,000 power to a character, and it's a 1K counter in hand. This is Drum Kingdom, so no relevant searcher type, but still, this card just seems absolutely like exceptional, right? Just absolutely incredible for what the deck's trying to do. And I would probably, honestly, guys, I would honestly say if you go right down this line, like Sanji, Marco, Wapol, however you say his name, and then the Rad Beam, like those 4 cards, that has got to be the future of this deck. I mean, I could be wrong. We'll have to see what happens in the future. New cards are always releasing. The meta switches up. We have to make, we have to make revisions and whatnot. But those 4 cards going forward are auto-includes in any Sanji deck I'm making. That being 4 Sanjis, 4 Marco, 4 Wapol, and 4 Rad Beams. It's a match made in heaven. It's too perfect together. Now, that's about all we can talk about for the list. We do got 2K counter Joes that I didn't talk about. We talked about Pell a little bit. But this card is just not quite as good without some type of power reduction. And that's where, like, I think another card that I would really consider is the 3 cost 4K chopper, the blocker, the EB-01 chopper blocker. That, attach 2 Dawn, swing for 6, and then minus 3,000 to a character for the turn. I just honestly think that's the way going forward, and you'll see that in my games. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and hop over to the sim. I got to move this, guys, because I had to adjust some things. Okay. Now I can see where we're at. And now let's go ahead and hop over to the sim. Let's go full screen. And then I will move my face over here. Y'all bear with me for just a second, guys. There we go. Now, these are not, okay. Real quick, the sim has been updated. If you have not updated your sim yet, please do so. I will leave a link in the comment section below talking about how to set up the sim. And in that video I made, like a tutorial video I made for the sim, you'll be able to go on there and update from there, because I have a link to the guy Batsu's link tree or whatever it's called. So you'll be able to find it all on there. And so understand, guys, at the time we were recording this video, this came out. This new version of the sim came out yesterday. So I had to whip these games together really quickly, almost zero play testing. So the matchups are just totally random, guys, as usual. It's just random players. You know, you get what you get kind of thing. Okay, now let's go ahead and hop into these games. Let's keep an open mind. Understand that the list we're looking at currently is not fully done, okay? It is not perfect. It has plenty of room for improvement, okay? So we're going to be going against Red Blue Marco as Sanji. So volume is off, speed is on, 2x, we're good to go. Okay, here we go. And I believe I went first this game. I can't remember, actually. Nope, they went first. And one thing I will say with the version that I'm running, that's another card. I actually think the Straw Hat Crew package is just better, guys. I'll talk about that. I will talk about that more over the course of these games, and when we get to the and when we actually get to the deck revisions and you know the deck analysis part for what I'm running. I think the Straw Hat Crew version is just superior, and we'll talk about that more later. Because that card in my hand, guys, do you see the card all the way on the far left? It's a 3-cost card with Zoro. That's a 3-cost 7K if you attach one Dawn. So it's really like a 4-cost 7K rusher in this deck. So it's literally better than Kid and Killer, being, you know, whenever you can play it right on curve on turn 2 of going second. So going second with this deck, I think, is actually very ideal, because you're going to be able to answer whatever they play first, right? Like, oh, you're going to play out a character? Well, I'm going to smash into it now when I can. You know what I mean? I think it is nice. But going first is still good as well. Okay, so there we go. So let's see what they just do. They just adjust their top card. I go, you know, 2 Dawn pass. Swing for 5. I do want to go down to 2 life as safely and as consistently as possible to turn on my rad beams. And right here, I'm going to swing for 5. Let's see what they decide to do. Probably give me a 1K counter would be smart. They take it. We're going to play out this guy, and now we're going to swing for 7. So now I think they're wishing, like, man, I probably should have blocked out of that first one. But hey, they give me a 0-cost event and a, you know, basically a 3K counter. And with Dawn 1 on this character, he stays at 6,000 power on my opponent's turn. Okay, well, he can only swing 6 into 6. I'm fine with that. I'm going to give him a 1K counter. I'm deciding which one I should do. I probably should have given him the Nico Robin, to be completely honest. Then I could have done a top search with the Nami. So here's that Chopper card. This card is absolutely cracked. I'm going to swing 6 at the enemy leader, and I'm going to do -3 to the ace, swing 5 into the ace with my leader, and then I'm going in for 7 at our opponent's face. And hey, this is, like I said, I really like the Straw Hat version. We don't know what the best version is yet. This is a brand new leader for the East, you know what I mean? And brand new for us too, obviously, in the West. You know, for us, it's not going to be available for what, probably 3 or 4 months. Okay, so here we go. They do the whole Marco leader effect to draw. Okay, pause. They hit me with a Fire Fist. So for those who are not aware, the Marco leader effect is attach 1, draw the top card of your deck, and then put a card from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck, and then -2,000 power to a character for the turn, which is absolutely massive. He shrunk my Zoro down to a 4K because he was a 6K with 1 Dawn attached. And my Chopper blocker was a 4K as well. Hits me with a Fire Fist. It did cost him 2 cards from hand, though. So 2 cards from the board for 2 cards from hand. That's actually pretty decent for us currently, given the current situation, the board state and the game state. Swing for 6. I do want to turn on my rad beams here, but at the same time, that is a really good 2K counter time. Okay, right here, Monkey D. Luffy is a 8-cost 9K rush banish character in this deck. And honestly, I think I should have played him here, but I started smelling blood in the water, so it's like, you know what? I'm going to run this guy over if he does not attack this properly. So right here, he does end up doing this pretty well. And I think, hang on one second. Yeah, swing for 5. and then I think I'm going to activate Nico Robin and swing for 5 more, or I might sit on 1 Dawn for a Rad Beam. I think it might have been better to sit on a Rad Beam, but at the same time, now he has 2 characters to worry about, and everything I have in my deck basically has Rush. So we're just getting cards out of hand. He's probably going to do minus 2,000. Oh, to the Nico Robin. Okay. And he still has, he's going to play out the Rayleigh, and now my whole board's going to get wiped for the most part right here. So pop the Kid and Killer. Nico Robin is at a minus 1,000. Another teachable moment, guys. Another, potential for learning here for new players. Your cost will never go below 0. It can go to 0, but it will not go below 0. Power does go below 0. Okay, so in other words, he just attacked my Nico Robin, who is at minus 1,000 power. If I wanted to get out of that 6K attack, I would have to go 6, 7 to get back to match him, and then 8 to get over that and to survive that. Power can go below 0 in this game, guys. Okay? All right, next up here, so we got Frankie. It's like, hey, I'll tell you what. I'm just going to swing for 10 into 8, and let's see if you have any cards in your hand. And then we're going to go 6 at life. 5 at life, and then I'm going to sit on a Rad Beam in case he tries some kind of funny business. You know, get a card out of his hand as well. I actually like that. I'm just keeping his hand super, super small right now. Okay, Frankie, yeah, that card's out of here. There's the new Newgate. That card is so awesome. I think swinging with that card was a little bit dangerous because I'm fine with just, like, demolishing, you know, that card every single time. Okay, right here. Let's see what I do. So, okay, one thing I will say is this card is good, the one that is on the side of the screen right now, the 8 cost 9K Luffy. Pause and read it if you don't know what it does. It's just banish. But I was having trouble playing it, like, with the play style. So I think I might, we'll talk more about that as we get into the deck analysis. It's like I would always rather battle the board. I want to have these interactions with the board. Now I'm going to go give him aggro or rush, excuse me, and just swing in for 8. But I will say this. I really like that Frankie. For those who don't know what the Frankie does, that is a Dawn ×1. You can attack active characters. Okay, just for attaching 1 Dawn, you can attack inactive characters. He does not have a 1K counter, which does hurt sometimes, but you know it is what it is. Okay, so I do have a way to get rid of that Marco, and this should be game right here. Oh, and I top deck a Kid and Killer, but it literally didn't even matter. So right here I can swing 7. He brings that back with a 2K counter. That was interesting, and now we're swinging in for 8. Hey, if he had kept that 2K counter, I think he would have gotten out of that. You know what I mean? Not that he would have won the game or anything, but it at least would have given him a chance. So there you go. Okay, so that was the first game. Let's go ahead and go to the next one now. This one is against the mirror match here. Okay, we got a mirror match. Let me make sure the speed is on 2x, the volume is already off, and we're good to go. So, this is the mirror match, and I think this guy actually had a little bit better version of the list than I did. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below, or maybe he just got a better pull, or I don't know. Every now and then when I go against a mirror match, I'm always like, well, let's see what this guy's playing. You know what I mean? Let's see how this goes. And I have to say, I like the version of the deck he's running. I swing 5 into 4 here. You absolutely 2K counter out of that if you can. So the fact that he didn't told me he has no 2K counters in hand. Like, there's a 1K, but a 2K counter, probably not. Okay, plays out a Brook. Very nice. He's going to... That Brook, by the way, let me pause. Notice what that does. Dawn ×1 when attacking. Give up to 2 of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. I love that. And this is all Straw Hat stuff we're talking about. Again, I do think the Straw Hat version is superior to the Whitebeard Pirates version. But you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. There's always room for revisions and to make stuff work. But being able to have all this power reduction allows you to just always fight into the board. Make it to the late game to plop down your big characters if you're running any. Okay, so there's no way I'm saving this card. Yep, he's gone. I'm going to let it go. Swing 5 into me. I do want to take this. I want to get down to 2 life for my Radical Beam. Okay, so right here, I have a lot of options. I'm a huge fan of Chopper. I think Chopper is just insane. I just think Chopper's so good. So I swing 5 into here because I have a play in mind. I don't remember what it was. I think I just... Okay. Interesting. So I think what I thought was going to happen, I thought he was going to swing, or I thought he was going to counter out of that. Just give me a 1K counter, and then I was actually going to pop it with the Azure Dragon, whatever it's called, and then play out a 3-cost Chopper and just sit on a blocker. But when he didn't actually take it, it's like, okay, let me go and play out Luffy here, swing for 6, leave 1 Dawn up, you know, threatening a Rad Beam, even though I have 4 life. And then he plays this guy. That Wapol card I'm not running, and I do want to add that to the list. Even though it's not Straw Hat Crew, sometimes you have to break whatever type it is to include certain cards that are just meant for a leader. Like, they're just too good to not include with the leader's effect. Okay, so I go ahead and play this out. We're going to be able to deal with this guy. We're going to swing 6 into 5. I gave him minus 3,000 power with the Chopper. Chopper is an MVP in this deck. He is straight removal, and then he's a blocker too, because they want to get rid of that card. They're like, yeah, get rid of that card every single time. So right here, they go ahead and play out the Brook. We're going to swing 6 into what? It'll be 3, I think, or 2. So there's no way I'll be able to survive. Okay, so it does minus 2,000 to 2 characters. Really strong. I take it. He plays out Zoro. 5 into 5. I'm starting to get a little bit low. Like, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, he's got one more attack left. Let me go ahead and take this, because if he swings into there, I want to be able to counter out. And right here, you know, I go ahead and give him the 3K, 2K. It is what it is. I just wanted to... He got greedy. I saw what he was doing. I thought he was going to swing for 6, but I could have gotten out of that too. But he was getting greedy, not attacking into my Chopper, and he got me down to 2 life. Now my Radical Beam's on. But, you know, bear in mind, that doesn't matter. We still got a lot of game left. However, now I get to take over the board state, and that is very, very relevant in this matchup. Okay, so right here, I think I'm just going to go 7 into 5, give minus 3,000 to the other character. He counters out. I'm fine with that. So now I'm going to go 5 into 5 and pop the other character that I've reduced the power of. And now I'm going to swing 5 into 5, and I just ate his whole hand. And I still have a board. Now I'm going to play out this Zoro, give this guy rush, swing for 7. I'm sitting on a Rad Beam. You know, your turn. Hey, your turn. What are you going to do here? I'm sitting on a Rad Beam. I have 3 characters. I have a Kid and Killer in hand. He doesn't know that. But I guess at the same time, it doesn't matter that I have Kid and Killer, right? Because this leader says all of my characters have rush. Okay, so let's see what he does here. Okay, goes up to 8. So he's going to swing for 8, probably into 6. I like that. 9 into 6. Okay, but I have a Rad Beam. So he should have committed to 10 into 6. Okay, then he finally gets rid of that. But now what? Like, what are you going to do now? You know what I mean? Like, he's just in such a bad spot. So I think I swing for oh, I mess up here. So, okay, so I messed up here. I was supposed to attach 2 Dawn to the Chopper to do minus 3,000 power to the Zoro. And it was going to be 6 in the lead, 5 in the lead, popping it with the Robin, and then going from there. That was just a strict play mistake. It was just a whoopsie-daisy. That was not intended. That was a play mistake. Not even necessarily a blunder. It was just a mistake. I was supposed to attach 2 Dawn to him. Swing 5, swing 5. I'm whittling this guy down right here. Now I can still swing into him if I need to. So attack for 7, and then I'm attack for 7 more and pop a character. Oh, and he just, okay, he didn't even have enough to counter out of that anyway. Okay, we got there anyway, right? We got there anyway. So, yeah, that was the right play, guys. That was the right one. Because I had a feeling I wanted to go for lethal that turn, but it's like, why not just play safe and keep this board clear, keep 2 life, and we're good. I've got a 2K in hand. I've got 2 life. It is, you know, and I can even play the blocker if I need to protect myself in that way. Okay, that was a funny one. Was sometimes maybe I had that play. No, I'm just kidding. I know I didn't have that planned. I remember that game. It was just like strictly a play mistake. Okay, now we got a game against Black Yellow Luffy. Well, guys, okay, I don't care that we're playing against Black Yellow Luffy. I've got a 5-cost unblockable Luffy in hand. We are going gas. We're going all in here, all in, everything face. He put a card on top of his life thinking, oh, he's not going to attack me. Oh, yes, I am, buddy. We're coming in for 7. That card's going right back to your hand because they don't have triggers, right? He was setting a card to play next turn. It's like, no, dude, I'm coming in. He does a Makino, goes down to 2 life, and then, you know, adjusts his last 2. Now he knows what's there. He's going to swing 8. I'll take it. Sure, because I need to get down to 2 anyway. Kid Killer's already on. So right here, I'm going to swing for 5. Pop your Makino. I'm not letting him have any board state. I'm swinging for 6, too. You can have it. I'm saying, you know what? You can have all these cards to your hand because it's turn 3. He's about to untap with 6 Dawn. Okay, he did get a trigger for 3 Brothers Bond. Sure, that's fine. He's going to swing for 7 here. Probably into my face. I think swinging into Nico Robin would be a mistake because he's probably going to gain life here. Right? Like, that's the idea. For Luffy, you want to get to as high a life as you can. Okay, well, that's not great for him. Those aren't blockers. Those are not blockers, guys. I'm just going to inform you all that these are not blockers. So I'm going to swing for 12 into 9 and get all the cards out of his hand that I can because that should be 2 2K counters. A 1K, a 1... He didn't have any 2K counters. He had to give me 4 1K counters. This game's over, right? Like, I'm like, okay, go ahead, swing whatever you want to. I am low on counter power. I do want to point that out. But, hey, he only has 3 attacks on board. He would have to get a ace into life to be able to get through for lethal if that's what he's even going for. Okay, let's see what happens here. Looks like he trashed a Flampe to get a Luffy back into his life, and I think that's all he has. I think all he has is that Luffy. I don't think he has anything else in his trash. Because guys, again, we're on turn 4. We're on turn 4, and I'm just bashing him in right here. Okay, let's see what he does. Plays that out. Okay, he's at 7,000 power, but that, again, that's not a card that can attack my face, so it literally just doesn't even matter. I think he's probably coming to that realization now, where it's like, okay, I'm going to swing. Okay, he swings for 11. He swings out of order. It doesn't even matter. Look at this. I did not get a single counter out of life. I was just going to lose the game if he had a rush card there, unfortunately. But doesn't matter. He has no blocker. I'm swinging 14-7. GG. That was a fun one. But that got scary at the end there. It was like, man, I'm not drawing any 2K counters. This is getting really, really scary. Okay, we got 2 more games left. Next up here, we have Katakuri. This Katakuri does like to race. Okay, Katakuri, he is a bit of a, you know, he is into racing. But, hey, I think we got a leader that's a little bit faster. And against us, I think Katakuri should play way more defensively. Excuse me. Like, develop an entire board, still swing every turn, you know, but really develop your board. It is of utmost importance. I don't know what is in the Katakuri player's hand, but if he did not have a pudding or a Parasparrow, that's definitely working in our favor. But that also means there's a higher likelihood that it's in his life. Swing for 7. He gets an El Thor. He did set that there. That was not a chance. Like, I mean, he didn't set it, but he knew that was coming with his leader's effect. But hey, it is what it is. So right here, they're playing out Pudding, playing out Kikanojo. But hey, I'm just going to go all gas right here. It's 7 to face time. Okay, let's see what he does. Any trigger? No trigger. Seems good. And now we're just going in for 7. Now, these last 2 games we're going to look at, I did modify the list ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. I added the Diable Jambes and a few other cards. But not the Wapol, which I do want to add eventually. Okay, swinging 6 into there. I'm like, no, dude, I'm going to counter out of these. Like, I have him on a clock that I don't think he realizes he's on a clock right now. I give him a 2K, 1K. Yep, we're fine. Okay, so right here, it's going to 2 into 2. He's going to let that go, obviously. 7 into life here. Okay, he's down to 2 life. Now my Kitten Killer is turned on. I'm swinging for 7 more to life, I believe. Yeah, because I want to go 8 with the Kitten Killer. Let's see what he does. Okay, so since he countered out of hand there, I play the Kitten Killer out, and I swing 8 into his 6. I have 4 life. He will not gain life from this effect. You got to always, hey, opportunities, guys. Use your opportunities when you see them. Because what is he going to take out here? He's on a 9 Dawn turn. They typically don't run they don't run, what's his name? 9 cost Yamato. But they do run Katakuri. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. All right, so now we're going to go. We did top deck a very relevant card in this situation. So I'm trying to do the math. Watch this, guys. I have a Nami on the board. I do have 10 Dawn. I have a Nami on the board, and that's it. I'm going to swing for 7 with Nami. Watch this. This is crazy, guys. Swing for 7 with my leader. Play out Sanji. Swing for 8 more, and that's going to get, like, 2 cards out of his hand. But now, like, I have Diable Jambe in hand, right? It just doesn't matter what he does here. Now, I guess it does matter, but hopefully y'all see what I'm saying. They play out Ace, swing for... They don't even swing. They don't want to give me any cards. But I can just swing with any card in my hand, except that 2K counter I just drew. We'll have to talk about that later as well. Okay, swing for 7. Do you have it or do you not? Okay, and then we're going in for the rest. GG. Hey, guys, this is a fun deck to play. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a pretty fun deck to play. All right, last one here. We got another game versus Marco. This is not the same as the first game. Let me go 2x speed for us real quick. This is not the same game as the first game. This is a whole nother game versus Marco. And this is with the slightly revised version of the deck too, I believe. So my hand's actually pretty good right now. Even though it might not look that crazy. It could be better, but it's like I'm just going to swing 5 here. Or I might even develop the blocker. I can't remember. Yeah, swing 5. Let's just eat every card out of his hand, start getting his life down. Because while I also want to go down to 2 life, I do want my opponent to be at 2 life as well, or lower, for my Kitten Killers. Because I think I run 3 or 4 Kitten Killers. They Sanji's pull off, swing 6 into face. I will gladly take that. We're not going to use the trigger. We don't need that. And now I can just start attacking, right? I mean, that's where we're at, right? And hey, all of my cards have rush. So I'm just going to go 6 at face here, I believe. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going with this Nami because he wants me to play bigger cards to KO, but I'm just not giving him that. I'm just not giving him that opportunity. It's like, hey man, I'm just going to keep beating you down with Nami, and then I'm just going to do an execute with like a card I give rush from hand. And one thing I will say about this later, it is very tempting to just be all out aggressive, and I think you should be, but I think you just need to know when to turn on the brakes, right? I think you need to know when you should and shouldn't like, put on the gas, I guess, so to speak. So swing for 7 here, and then I'm going to swing for 7 again here. I probably should have swung for 7 with my leader first, then played this out to avoid triggers, at least to the best of my ability. But yeah, so we swing for 7. He's at 2 life now. If I get a Kid Killer from anywhere, that's turned on. He pops my Zoro with the Rayleigh. Swing for 5. I'm like, I don't know if I should take this or not. I don't think it'd be smart to take unnecessary hits. Right here as well, I want to stay around 3 life for a minute because I do not have my opponent in a good position here. The Tony Chopper just always puts in work, by the way. That card is just... Tony Chopper in this deck is removal. Like, Tony Chopper is literally removal in this deck. But right here, I like to use this expression a lot, especially when I'm talking about decks that can rush. I smell blood in the water. It's like we're going face, and then we're going to go face again. I can't buff the Nami because she has minus 2,000 on her. My whole turn would have been different there if that Nami was not minus 2,000, because then I would have done a chopper play, swing 6 in the face, minus 3,000 to your Marco, and then I swung 3 into Marco, and then probably 5 into Marco with my leader, and just ate up their hand or took the card off the board and established the board. But again, it all depends on what you have in hand. You know what I mean? And it depends on the board state. Everything changes. Everything is like subjective to the matchup, the board state, and so many different things. 6 into 4, I'm fine with that. They're at 0 life right now. I am going to Diablo Jambe next turn no matter what. there is no other play this turn. The play for this turn is Diablo Jambe, swing for 13. That is the correct play, because I think I go up to 9 Dawn here. So it'll be 8 plus 5 is 13. One cost, of course, for the event. And that's my game plan. I don't have any other game plan. He's trying to fix his hand right now. He did the leader effect. He's trying to get as many 2K counters in his hand because he saw me search up the Diablo Jambe. I think he saw me search up the Diablo Jambe. I'm like, take it, and then boom, we'll pop that with I got 2 Diablo Jambes in the deck. I got one from life that just popped a 3-cost blocker. Didn't matter. This guy's unblockable now. We're loading up 8. Or excuse me, I was at 10 Dawn. I was at 10 Dawn there, so it was a 14K attack. And they were able to get to, I think they were able to get to 10K, and that's it. One thing I will say about the Red-Blue Marco list is it can be kind of bricky, especially this version. I'm very aware of like what he's trying to do with this version. This is not a bad version of the deck. It's just Sanji is hyper-aggressive, and it doesn't really give you time to set up. I don't even think this guy played anything wrong. I do think he should have attacked the Nami. That is the one thing I will say, like, when, just to go back a little bit, when it was all the way back here. This was my first attack with the Nami, right? Like, right here, don't get greedy. There's no reason to attack me right now. If you attack me, you're giving me cards in my hand, right? It's like, okay, sure, I'll take the extra option. You know what I mean? And now, next turn here, I can just keep smashing face. So typically speaking, you're okay with, like, leaving a 1-cost searcher on the board, right? Because, well, I can pop that anytime I want to very easily with, like, any kind of removal in the game. Yeah, but against a deck like this, all my cards have rush. So if you're going to let me capitalize on the value from my searcher, I'm going to do it, you know, probably 9 times out of 10. Okay, that was the last game from the sim. Those were really fun. This leader is outrageously fun to play. And I know a lot of people think like, oh man, this leader's broken or toxic or both, whatever. Okay, so hear me out, guys. This was the first edition. This is not finished. Let me move my head over before I forget. Excuse me. So this is not the finished version, but this is at least, I think it's a step in the right direction. For Kid Killers, even though this is not searchable by Straw Hat Crew, it just doesn't matter. Because, okay, hear me out, guys. You can give a character rush with your leader, and then you can still play a rusher after that to swing in. So, like, for example, there's like an 8 Dawn play in this deck where it's like, okay, play this guy out, attach 1 Dawn, swing for 7. Well, swing for 5 first with your leader, right? So they don't know what's coming. Swing for 7 with this guy, swing for 7 with this guy if they're at 2 or less life. It's just like this perfect little combo. This card, you know, like the cutest card in the game, is also the most deadly card, deceptively, you know, vicious. I don't know how else to say it. This card in this deck, it's basically a 5-cost 6K that gives the character minus 2,000 power for the turn, and it has rush and blocker, and it's a 1K counter in hand. So again, this is like a 5-cost 6,000 power 1K counter rush card that also has blocker, and when it attacks, Dawn minus 3,000 power to a character for the turn. Luffy as well. Okay, yes, every card does have rush in this deck because of Sanji, except a few. Like Nico Robin has on play, you can't use this one, and the same thing with this Brook. Maybe we need to find better 2K counters for this spot. I don't know. But at the same time, it is just a 2K counter. That's all I'm trying to do with it. Whatever the case is. with the rest of this stuff, you can give like everything rush in here, or it already has rush. Like, you know, your Kid Killers, your Choppers, your Sanjis. Nami can't get rush either, of course. That's an on-play searcher. But Nico, Robin. This is the Frankie I was using, guys. This is from OP-01. It's just an uncommon. It's a 3-cost 4K, Dawn ×1. This character can also attack your opponent's active characters. He has rush, guys, because that's not an on-play. That's a Dawn ×1 effect, so I can just give him rush with my leader. Brook, this card is extremely good at taking the board back in this deck. This card, man, I never got it off. I was never able to play it because I was trying to be so aggressive. Maybe it depends on your opponents, right? It depends on your opponents. It depends on your matchups and whatever. I do think this card is good, but probably going down to like 2 or 3 of this card is a better option because it is searchable if we really need it for Nami. It is Straw Hat Crew searchable. The event package over here, Rad Beam, Bad Manners Kit Course, and then this Azure Dragon Stamp Flowing Water. I was trying this out because I was like, okay, this was my theory behind it. Like, let's just say I have 8 Dawn for the turn. Like, okay, I can swing for 6 with this guy, give 2 characters minus 2,000 power for the turn, and then I could pop a 7 or less. But it's like, you know, that's just too janky. It ended up not working out. I do like the Nico Robins in here, but they're not a must-have. This is at least a 1K counter, and it can pop a 1K, but at the same time, it's hard to get a character to exactly 1,000 that you want to get to 1,000. You'd have to combo it with, like, Chopper and Brook or something, like if it's a 6K character. So, you know, we'll have to see. Now, the second version, this was the version that I used in the first 3 games we looked at today. For the second version, let me go to, I just called it Speed G. Like, instead of Sanji, you've got Speed G over here. This is the second one, and I like it a lot better. I went down to 2. I went up 2K counters because I was like, whoa. I changed the deck list after that game that we almost lost against, who was it? Against, I think it was against Black Yellow Luffy, where I had no counters in hand. I immediately changed the deck list after that. I went down to Luffy. I went up this 2K counter Jinbei because it's like, wait a minute. This is a miniature Brook effect if I ever need it. This is a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 2K counter, Straw Hat Crew searchable. Dawn ×1 when attacking. So this is like a 3-cost. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for this turn. Sorry, guys, my mouth's drying out. So this will allow us, if they have like, say they have like a, let's just say they have a 5,000 power character turn sideways. Okay, no problem. We can actually just attach 2 Dawn to this guy, right? And then, actually, no, we would only need to attach 1 Dawn. And then we can swing for 3 into 3 with just this investment. And now we have a character on the board. And then we can swing 5 into him with our leader if we need to finish him off, where it will get 3 cards out of hand. I'm trying to talk too fast, too, because I'm so excited about this leader. All right, sorry, guys. Okay, still got the 4 Kid Killers, the Tony Choppers, the Sanjis, the Rad Beams at a 2 of. I will be pushing this up to a 4 of. This card's pretty nice, though, because, number 1, it is Straw Hat Crew searchable, but number 2, I tap out completely a lot of times in the early game, and if I can just do a 0-cost 3K by trashing, like, I don't know, this card or something, I do think this card is very nice in the deck, but I might go down to a 2 of. We'll have to see. You know, I'm not set in stone on that. This card is incredible. It just runs people over. This 3-cost 5K Zoro is just, like, absolutely perfect for the deck. Now, another card we wanted to look at is this Waffle card. This, I think, should go in the list. Remember what I was saying at the beginning when we were looking at the other players' list. 4 Sanjis. I was saying 4 Rad Beams, 4 Wapole, and then 4 of the I think it was this Zoro card. Let me bring it up real quick. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, it was Marco. Excuse me, it was Marco. So that is another thing that I do want to add. But the thing about Marco that makes it kind of like, okay, I don't know why I'm bringing it up on here. I could bring it up on the sim. But the problem with this card is you have to trash Whitebeard Pirates type cards from your hand. And that's probably why they went down this path with the card, the more I think about it. That is unfortunate. I did realize it when I started talking about it, but not when I first mentioned it. So maybe not the Marco, but I will say this card is very good. And another thing I want to mention is any card with blocker. Any card with blocker, like maybe even Shiraya, is just, it has double value in this deck. As long as it doesn't have an on-play effect. Like, let me see if one of these has an on-play. I don't know if they do or not. Okay, none of these have an on-play that I can see. Okay, cool. If the blocker does not have an on-play effect, guys, it is a blocker rusher in this deck. That's just massive, right? I can sit behind it defensively and go about things that way. And who knows, at this point, maybe maybe there is a way where we can, you know, fit in a few Whitebeard Pirate cards to save this one. Maybe, maybe not. You know, it's probably not worth including at that rate if we're trying to build, like, everything around this one card. Because that's another thing, too, is if we're trying to be aggressive, we're not even going to be at 2 life anyway where we could save this card. Yeah, I mean, like, we'll probably be at 3 or 4 life, and then we're just smashing in with our board. Well, we can't save him at that point anyway. You know what I mean? So maybe it's not worth worrying about. But Zoro, this card, and Chopper, and Sanji, these 3 right here are straight gas in this deck, guys. The Zoro, the Sanji, and the Chopper. Hey, Straw Hat Crew, right? Absolute gas in this deck. Now, one thing I do want to check real quick, because I can't remember, were they running Kid and Killer? They were not running Kid and Killer in their list. So maybe that is something we can, like, go down to 2 of, but I would not go down all of them, because it's just such a nice card to finish games off with. But I could see a world where I go down 1 Luffy, go down 1 Kid and Killer, go up to 2 Rad Beams, and try it that way. Let me do, yeah, let me do that right now. So this is, like, the first, like, immediate revisions I would make to the list. Maybe go to 3 Rad Beams? It's hard to say. Whatever the case is. Oh, but I want to add the Warpoles, right? The Wapole. This guy. Let me add 2 of him to start. I'm going to remove the leader so we can see the whole page here. I do like going up the... Where'd he go? The Wapoles. And maybe there is a world where we get rid of one of these 2K counters. Because I am at least replacing... I replaced a 1K counter. Or, excuse me, a 0 cost counter and a 0... I can't even talk right now. I replaced a 0 counter and a 0 counter for 2 1Ks. Maybe at that rate, I do take out these other 2 Brooks and just go up the 2, yeah, the 2 Wapoles. Because, again, I'm still increasing the amount of counter power in the deck, which is a good thing. We want that. Because there are a few, like, almost unnecessary non-counters in the deck. Like, for example, this guy right here, Frankie, as much as I like this card, and I do like this card a lot, he does not have a counter. Well, neither does Luffy, neither does Zoro. So that's 10 cards with no counters right there. And then we also have the 5 big boys over here, you know, the Luffy and the Kid and Killer. So that's 15 cards with no counter. And then if you want to get technical, Diable Jambe as well. So there is something to consider there. Maybe we do need to adjust a few things. 17 non-counters, even with the 0 cost counter in here, is a little bit scary. But at the same time, you know... Hey, I know. Okay, I just thought of this. Maybe instead of going the Monkey D. Luffy, maybe we do just go 4 Diable Jambes. I don't know. It's really hard to say. And I say the Diable Jambes over the Luffy because we can attach this to our leader, right, guys? Our leader is Straw Hat Crew, which is very, very relevant. And then this also has a trigger to KO up to one of your opponent's blockers that have cost 3 or less. That's almost like a black card effect, right? Like the black card pool has these kind of effects. But hey, this card is very powerful, and this is literally a Sanji card, right? It's Straw Hat Crew, but this is like a Sanji flavor card. Yeah, so that's really about it, guys. That's really about it. I think these are the first immediate changes I would make to the list going forward, and I want to know what y'all think about it. Unfortunately, I think I was wrong about the Marco. If you do want to run Marco in the way we were saying, you might have to go more of a, you know, how would you say it? A Whitebeard version. Sorry, guys, I had my mind on other things. Trying to do too much multitasking right now. I got so much on my mind. But yeah, this is the list that I think is very good. It's not finished. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions about it, please leave them in the comment section below. Because, for example, some cards that I want to add are vanilla cards. What are vanilla cards? Those are cards like this. This is a 4 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter with no effect. That's a vanilla card. And if we have yeah, we do. Okay, so there is a straw... Oh, there's 2 of them right here. So Frankie, or... This is like a promo card, but it doesn't matter. Just use Frankie. Unless you just really want to have this cool Luffy promo card. But Frankie is a 4 cost 6K. Remember, guys, in this list, he's a 4 cost 6,000 power character with Rush and a 1K counter. Yeah, it's just absolutely insane. Let me see if there's a 5 cost one. That would be really cool if there is. There should be. There might not be, though. There might not be a 5 cost vanilla Straw Hat card. Yeah, I don't see one. I mean, we do have the 5 cost 6K, but I'm looking for a 5 cost 7K vanilla Straw Hat card. Okay, let me see. There might be. Maybe there's a 6 cost one. We'll just have to see here. Maybe not. Okay, but either way, I guess we already had a good enough 6 cost one with this Wapole card. Well, no, see, that's technically like a 7 cost character. Oh well, that is the one weakness I will say about the Straw Hat version. The biggest vanilla card that we can really, like, you know, we don't have any good 5 or 6 vanilla cards to play for Straw Hat Crew. unfortunately. You know, it is what it is. But at the same time, the 4-cost one here in Frankie, this will get the job done, right? You know, let me see this. Oh, that's Whitebeard. This will get the job done. Let me see this real quick, though. Oh, if your leader's Edward Newgate, never mind. Well, at least read it, though. You cannot add life cards to your hand using your own effects during this turn. Oh, this is from SD15. This is from the new starter deck 15, OP0 8.5. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm done rambling, guys. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Let's do a quick art critique to end off the video. We got a Hiyori here, absolute masterpiece, surrounded by the cherry blossom trees, the sakura trees, or sakura trees, however you say it. Really beautiful piece here. Let me go ahead and zoom in so we can actually analyze this a little bit. One thing that's interesting about this, I don't know if it's the way that the picture was taken or what, but there's a lot of really dark black lines on the bow where it gives a very heavy outline. It gives a very heavy outline. I don't know if that was intended or not, but I do wish they had softened those edges up a little tiny bit. But it looks absolutely incredible. Don't get me wrong. Big fan of what's going on here with with the hair. The hair is just flowing. She's like this magical Disney princess. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe. Like she's got her hand out. Like, oh hey, hey, I'm just here being amazing. You know what I mean? Like look at how beautiful I am over here, surrounded by these pink, cherry blossoms or whatever, the sakura trees. Absolutely gorgeous piece here. Not too much to talk about in the composition because this is meant to be a static pose. She is literally just sitting down. That's what she's doing. She's sitting down and she's waving, right? That is what she's doing. There is more stuff going on behind the scenes here, of course. Like I'm sure this has something to do with the story, like with the area, which I would assume is Land of Wano, right? Because that is her types. And she's just surrounded here in this beautiful, this beautiful world. And she herself is, absolutely gorgeous the way they drew her. She's got these bright blue eyes. Is that how she is? I don't remember her having blue eyes in the other pictures I've seen of her. But who knows? It's kind of hard to see these tiny cards. But her hair is like flying in the wind. She's just surrounded by nature and beauty. Just really good stuff here. Not a whole lot to talk about other than the fact that this is just a piece that has a very well-developed background, middle ground, and foreground. In the back, we have these trees back here. Again, we just see she's just surrounded by this nature she's in. It's gorgeous. There's pinks everywhere. It's just it's like a pink color barf everywhere. You know what I mean? And then in the foreground, we have these flower petals and everything up here in the front, and then Hiyori, of course, is in the center, sitting down, very well postured there, at least to some extent, right? Let me get out where's the marker tool. I got to draw on the piece a little bit, right? I can actually use black because black will be very easy to show with all these pinks, and that's what I was saying about this piece here. They really went crazy with the blacks here. They really went crazy there. Okay. Like, I feel like I could have a lot of fun with this piece in the editor. Hang on. All right, we're going to play with it. We'll at least play with this piece. Hang on a second. All right, so if we go like this, I feel like we can give her the biggest bow you've ever seen. Hang on one second. If we crop this piece here, let's see if it gives it to us. Okay, done. Whoops. And now we can give her this huge bow on top of her head with this thing. It's just, like I said, it's so crazy how they made this so dark. It looks good, but I think I just wish they had lightened up these edges ever so slightly. That's the perfectionist in me hoping they would take it to an even further level. Yeah, because look how soft they did these edges. It's so good. Like it's so good how they did these flowers right here. They literally almost blend into what's behind it, into the trees that are way like 20 feet away behind it or whatever. Same thing here. They even use a yellow outline for these like heart-shaped petals. Looks so good. But then when we get to this bow, I'm like, wait. It's almost like we need more greens here. But hey, when you go back like this, like I said, it looks way better. It's just when you sometimes as an artist, when you overanalyze things, you get overly critical, and you're just like never finished with the piece, right? It's like, oh, I got to soften this up. And one thing I will say, notice it's only about 1 pixel wide, so maybe this did have to do more with the actual putting the piece into a digital format. Maybe it did mess up what the original looks like. Because it looks like I said, this is like a 1 pixel resolution we're looking at, and maybe that's why the blacks are so much more pronounced here. Okay, either way, really good stuff. I'm not trying to be overly critical. I think this piece looks incredible, like absolutely gorgeous. All of the Hiyori pieces I've seen so far, especially the alt arts, they're just next level. They're just surrounded in beauty. I don't know anything about the story, but if I had to guess who this character was, she would be of some type of royalty, some type of royal lineage, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe not. She could just, who knows? She could just be some random peasant girl in the Land of Wano area. I have no idea. Y'all tell me in the comment section below. But whenever I see her pictures, Again, I get the Disney princess vibe, just really good. And I don't mean that in like a bad way. I don't know if people could interpret that as like, what do you mean? No, I'm just saying it's like this, you know, oh, she's just flowers everywhere. Look at my word, you know, there's a bird's probably about to land on her shoulder, like, oh, hey, what are you doing today? It's like her best friend, right? Like from like some kind of Snow White or something, who knows, or Rapunzel. Okay, I'm done talking. I really like this piece, though. Please, guys, please do not misunderstand me or misquote me or anything like that. I think this piece is incredible. I was just drawing attention to some lines that were just like extremely darkened and almost for no reason. It makes me wonder if that had to do with the translation from the piece into the actual printer. But we'll have to, you know, who knows? Who knows? Really good stuff here. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me go ahead and put up the playmat page. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel by buying a playmat. I'm a little over halfway done with them now. I think I have about 40 to 50 left of the playmats. It started to slow down a little bit. But if you're interested, message me on Discord or message me, you know, somewhere, get a hold of me, and we'll be able to set that up. Big shout out to the people who have already, and then also to the patrons, the VV Pirates patron page. Thank you to everybody who helps out in the channel just by donating, helping out the ways you can. I really do appreciate it. Hey guys, if you are just liking, sharing, subscribing, watching, commenting, if you're doing any of that, you're helping me out big time. I really do appreciate it. All right, well, thank you guys so much. Please do not forget to like and subscribe on this video, and until next time, guys, peace.